This is the one thing they got. And by they got, I mean the intelligence agencies and bureaucracies of the world. And when they want to invoke Black women, Native Indigenous women, however you identify, okay? And not to say that this was a ploy or a scheme or machination by the principalities of debauchery. This probably wasn't that. But this is what they got. This is the one thing I feel like Black women in droves get unhinged by, I would say, come out of character by. I wouldn't even say the inflammatory things that white women say, that when they think that they're better, or they say the N-word or da-da-da-da-da, and they're arm in arm with your man. That used to invoke a lot of Black women. That doesn't do that anymore. The one thing that still does, though, is like this EJ person did. It still invokes you. And I had to see, like, what did EJ say? Because, Johnson's kid. What did Magic Johnson's kid say that made y'all come out in droves? Because I was expecting something really inflammatory, like, the chicken tender is just so much better than a real woman, and like, you real bitches are just gonna have to fall in line and get on your knees and understand that men don't want you anymore. That's not what EJ said. And I was I don't want to say I was looking forward to it, but I was like looking for something inflammatory, and there was none. If you're mad because someone who is effeminate said that they look the best in clothes and no one's doing it like them, girl, like, doesn't everybody do that? Everybody does that. I think the interviewer was a little annoying with the whole clocking situation, but that was dumb. But okay, like, as a real woman, that any other real woman does that, and you've done that too. You've done that around women. Yup, I'm the best. I do it. Okay, fine. You want to be delusional? Fine, whatever. Then you get upset because there's this conflation of how EJ represents themselves. I'll break it down like this. Someone's male, someone's female. People are male, people are female. People are supposed to wear blue. People are supposed to wear pink. The people that are supposed to wear pink are born with vaginas. You see this person you perceive is supposed to wear blue, and you see them as wearing blue, but they wear pink. And they're saying that they use the color pink to get blues, which invokes you. It invokes you because it's invoking on an insecurity. It really is. Personally, I don't give a shit. However, I want to break down what EJ said in the matter, because these trans chicken tenders, some gay, whatever, how they say and identify, and they say that, they really heterosexual men go after them and da-da-da-da. It's multi-layered. You have the DL situation, which is a mess. And then you have probably men who have never been with a man before, who see something in EJ, maybe by their style of dress, how they're invoked, whatever. They're enticed by EJ in some facet that is maybe reminiscent to you in your garb and your wearing of pink. But that triggers you because, and I think it's highly scarcity, but it's also this projection that you see EJ as not, I don't want to say this, but not representative of, you don't see EJ as looking like a woman, which I think is highly problematic too, because there's a lot of women that don't really look, quote unquote, like women. And then you really have to break down, what are we talking about when we're saying that if a man goes with another man, they're not really heterosexual? You have to identify, is it because you think that EJ looks like a man? Is it because you think that, EJ was born with a penis? Is it because that EJ identifies as a man? Because I'm not even sure, I don't know. I don't keep up with EJ to know all of these things. But all I knew is that I came on today and all the girls are mad. Everybody's mad because EJ said that they were the best at wearing it. No one's doing it like them. Okay. I mean, I don't agree. Whatever. And then they get heterosexual men, which probably isn't true, but it may not be false either. Because we're living in boxes and we're living in labels. This is not concise enough to like really describe like what's going on. Like I said, somebody who's never been with a man before might be attracted to EJ. Who the hell are you to say that, like, oh, well, then they're not really heterosexual because da-da-da. No, that's so that you feel better about your situation, you making yourself smaller as a woman, you performing as a woman so that you can be accepted by a man, you doing all of that. It makes you feel better to know that, okay, let's just exit them out and say that they're not in the same pool that I would be dating from. It's you projecting in your insecurities. Because why are you really mad though? If you can get heterosexual men that like you, then girl, pull it. What's the problem? Pull you a man. Do you feel like the transgenders are gonna co-opt and slash say that transgenders who have penises and or fake vaginas are the real women? Is that what you're scared of? Because I don't think that's what it is. I think that you know and understand that there's a hierarchy, and you know that you're slim to the bottom other than someone like EJ, and you want to make sure that the other men out here in this world understand that there's a pecking order, and if they want to be seen as heterosexual, they better choose you before they choose an EJ. That's what I think. That's what I think is going on. I don't think, because I don't give a shit. How is it that we got Iran missiles and all this mess and all this madness? There's a whole conflation of what really happened in the Bible and where we all come from in the pizza files, and people taking black DNA and myelinate their data centers and doing their research on melanin. You got all this stuff going on, and you worried about freaking EJ, who hasn't done anything to a woman, has probably helped a woman before you can think of any man that's really helped you. I'm gagging. Y'all have your priorities fucked up for real. Honestly, you're mad because of how you perceive somebody who's wearing the color pink, claiming that, and mind you, they might only get like 1 or 2 hits a year, but claiming that they only date heterosexual men, however slim that might be. I guess for me, it's like this. It's like, how ridiculous is it to call yourself a heterosexual man? Just like how ridiculous is it to call yourself an alpha male? How ridiculous is it to really call yourself a woman? What does that really mean, and what does that really entail? Does that mean you're going to make yourself smaller? Does that mean that... So what? Let's really identify what a woman means. Does it just mean a vagina? Okay, so then if somebody has a vagina and they look more like a woman than you do, according to your classifications, do they then beat you in womanhood? Oh no, they're still a man. Even though you can't pin them out of a crowd, they're still a man. And a man is supposed to know that they're a man? No, then they're supposed to tell them, because it makes you feel better about yourself for them who passes in society to let everyone else know that they're not a real woman, so that it makes you feel better about yourself. They're supposed to put their neck on a guillotine in this harsh-ass society and world because it makes you feel better. What are we talking about here? Who cares what EJ said? Like I said, I was really expecting EJ to say something like really inflammatory. What was the most problematic thing about that interview was the interviewer who was doing all that clock it. And mind you, clock it comes from the chicken tender that you say is not a real woman. That's where that comes from. You did not, if you want to make a distinction about who did what, we can make that classification honestly and be honest about it. Clock it, tea, finger snaps, all that extra flamboyant, flagrant stuff the black heterosexual femme community does specifically came from transgenders. Talk to the hand, out of my face, all that stuff, that head waving and all of that stuff, long fingernails, it came from transgenders first. The black queer community was doing all of that before. Lace fronts, coins, ducats, China bangs, all that stuff came from the black chicken tender community. And as proof, I'm going to tell you why that came from the black chicken tender community. They were ostracized. They were the ones that told you first, back in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, that your man ain't shit, that black men aren't shit. And you told them that they were trying to break up the black community and you kicked them out. So the black trans youth largely had to do it for themselves up until yesterday, up until like 10 years ago. And by doing it by themselves and creating their own community, they were all flamboyant and doing all that head waving, head knocking, serving, and being extra and all the extravaganza and all that stuff. All the emphasis on language and stuff. They were doing that. We got men, heterosexual men saying clock it. That came from chicken tenders. Saying no shade. Where do you think no shade came from? Shade, the shade, honey, the shade. That came from trans folk. That came from trans folk. So, I mean, listen, like I said, y'all are upset. And it's like, I was really expecting something and y'all didn't deliver. I got my popcorn ready. I'm like, okay, what did EJ say? The girls are going to start fighting. Oh, the girls are fighting. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. I'm more so disappointed and anticipating that this would be something, and it was nothing. It was nothing of the sort.